What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. And today we are going to be starting part 3 of the 400EX rebuild series. And it's been a little longer than what I wanted to wait to record the next video. I ended up catching some kind of stupid upper respiratory infection, and it's got me out of breath and coughing up a lung, and it was pretty miserable. It hit me down for a couple of days, so if you hear me breathing or coughing in the video, I apologize. I'm still getting over it. It's been a whole week, but the part two of the series, the last video I just did, we rebuilt the swing arm. So if you want to watch that, go ahead and click back in through my channel there and look for part 2. But today, sorry, I can't talk, my brain's out of it, but today we're going to be doing the suspension linkage. And this part is actually going away. I got a little goodie replacing this part. But it should be a relatively short video, an easy video. It's pretty simple. This thing's actually not even in bad shape, but just for the preventative maintenance part, we're gonna be replacing the bearings and dust seals and all that good stuff. And I got my high dollar parts washer back out, so I guess come with me here as I start tearing this thing apart, and we'll get it fixed back up and ready to be put back on the 400. You guys have this thing taken apart like I have it sitting here. It's very simple. There's a 14mm bolt head there and a 14mm nut. And if I turn the ratchet the right way, this thing ought to come apart. Okay. Oh, gosh dang it. Damn, that's tighter, way tighter than I thought it was going to be. That's what she said. Alright, there's one piece. Damn, I don't know what the torque specs are on these, but I'm going to have to look that up. That is tight. I think that's a locking nut too. I guess that makes sense. But alright, that takes care of that. Very simple. We'll go ahead and pop all 4 of these little collars out here. Get the easy part out of the way. I'm assuming the bearings will come out pretty easy. This part here ain't nowhere near as bad as that swing arm was. There's all 4 of them, and I believe they're all 4 identical. And we got dust seals to try and pry out of here. I don't know if the chisel's the correct tool, but we'll give it a try. Hard to pry out of there. Alright. Let me get something set up here. I'm just going to start pounding the bearings out, and them dust seals can come out with the other side, so I'll be right back. Let me get something set up. Alright, I got my pounding block set up here. I just used a shorter 3/8 extension, and the 11/16 socket actually fits in there perfect, damn near like the swing arm bolt, or the swing arm bearings do. But it's a little tricky beating this out because this piece is so small. There's not a whole lot of room to hold on to anything, so I kind of got to put my foot on it and beat it at the same time. But I did a little test run here before I started recording to see if it moved, and it moved, so we'll get this thing pounded out here, hopefully. These needle bearings really aren't that bad, but I figured for the sake of already having this thing apart, I might as well just replace it before one of them does go bad, so. I thought it was going to be, but now we can see that all the bearings are out. We'll throw them in the parts washer here, aka the dollar store tub. We'll get everything cleaned up and get it looking as good as we can, then we'll start pounding the bearings back in. And we're finally back, but as you can see, I'm pretty dang happy with how these cleaned up. All it was just some Dawn dish soap, a little bit of, what was it called, Purple Power in a tub. I scrubbed it with a wire brush and then took the wet steel wool and just kind of went over everything. And for it being pretty simple, that turned out really nice. I'm happy with it. I couldn't get down in them crevices, obviously, but who's ever going to see that? I mean, who's really ever going to see these? But my OCD won't let me put stuff back together if I got it tore apart and it's dirty. But another thing I do, I mentioned in the swing arm video as well. This is just a piece of 320 grit. I really don't know what the correct grit is, but it's just, I just take something real fine, just a real fine grit piece of sandpaper, and I just kind of take it and just kind of loop in there real smooth. Just something if you got any burrs, any corrosion, it just kind of cleans it up. And then just take a rag and wipe off all the loose material that's in there, and you're good to go. But while I got the camera up here and I got everything kind of laid out, I got another all balls kit. You can kind of see the number there. It's just their linkage bearing kit, but it comes with everything that's exactly sitting up here. Comes with all your dust seals, 2 per collar. Hopefully they go in a little easier than we're coming back out. There's all your sleeves or spacers, whatever you want to call them. And then we got the bearings themselves. And that being said, let's go ahead and prop the camera back out, or back down there on the floor on my beating block, and we'll go ahead and pound these back in. But I will say it's going to be a little tricky because there's no way to really know when these bearings need to stop. So I'm just going to kind of have to just kind of eyeball it and see where's damn near center. So I guess we can kind of test it with one of the dust seals, but I'll get everything set up here and do a test run. Maybe I'll start recording once I see how it goes. I got everything set up down here, just how it's supposed to go. All the bearings are facing right side up. And I noticed beating the last one in on my little test run that I think they give you a little bit of room for error as far as beating these in perfectly centered and then getting these dust caps in. So what I did with the last one was push the dust cap down into where it needs to go. So you can kind of eyeball it as you're beating the bearing down in to where it should stop at or pretty damn close. Alright, those are all flush or pretty damn close to it anyway. And them little collars that go in the center are longer anyway, I believe, for spacing. But that being said, let me clean the holes back out again. Pounding things in on a block of wood probably ain't the best, but alright, so we got them dust seals down in. I'll kind of get the bearings started flush. They're a little hard to do. I'll take a little shot of anise. Well, I say a little shot. I got a full bottle, so this thing makes a damn mess, and it really pisses me off. But just kind of smear a little bit on the outside. Alright, I'm gonna just start tapping them down in there. So. One at a time. Alright, and same thing, use your 11/16 socket. There might be different for you, I don't know. These are just Harbor Freight sockets that seem to fit the best. And just start tapping them down in the rest of the way. I believe I got these all pretty damn close to being centered up as good as I need them to be. So it didn't push any of the dust seals out the other side, so I'm calling that good enough. Like I said, they give you a little bit of tolerance for in and out, so I think that'll be good. We'll get them back up here, put the other dust seals in, throw a little grease in them, and put everything back together as one piece again. Alright, there's that piece, both dust seals, both needle bearings in, and there's the other piece, both dust seals and the needle bearing in, so that's how it goes. We'll go ahead and throw a little bit of grease on these collars. I did the swing arm, I was just putting grease on my finger and smearing it around the hole, but the manual says to cover these with grease, slide them in and then spin them around, so I'll do that. Plus there's actually a good bit of grease inside of them already from what I can see, so let me get a little grease out here, get them installed, and should be about ready to wrap up. Thinking this part here goes towards the back of the four-wheeler. So with these reservoirs here, I don't know if you can see this or not in the camera, but the reservoir hose exit off the shock itself should be facing back towards this piece. So that being said, this piece here slides in like this. Gosh dang it. Now it's awkward because that stupid hose is facing the wrong way, but this here goes together like that. Now that that's together, should be able to slip my wrench on this side, tighten it down. Alright, if you guys don't have one of these manuals, so I'm trying to do all this one-handed, but one of these climber manuals. They are extremely useful and full of information if it comes down to building one of these 400s. But what I was doing some digging here for torque specs, and I was a little confused because there's 4 torque specs and I can't tell which one. But looking here, A is your shock link, I believe. Let me double check. Yes, A is your shock link, and B is considered your shock arm. And if you look in the back of the torque specs here, gosh dang it, I gotta find it, hold on. I lost my finger out of the page. All of these get torqued to 43. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Except 43 foot-pounds, except this right here, the shock arm that goes back to the swing arm. That one gets torqued to 33. So the bolt that goes up here to the frame, the bolt that goes up through here to the frame, and then these two here all get torqued to 43, and this one back here that connects to the swing arm gets 33 foot-pounds. Alright, got my torque wrench down to 43 foot-pounds. Let's see how hard this is to do one-handed. Holy shit. Okay, there's that one. Okay, there's both 43. Sorry, that was probably a shitty recording, but that's terrible to do one-handed. But everything still moves good. And that wraps this project up, so that's ready to get back on the fuller when it comes time to assembly. Well guys, that concludes that part of the project. I apologize again if the video is a little crappy or confusing or whatever. I'm still a little under the weather. I pray none of you guys get any of this crap because it's taking a toll on me the last week. But again, thanks for watching. If I helped somebody, then I did my job. If I did something wrong, leave a comment down below and tell me what I did wrong so I can learn. Like I said, this is a first time project for me, and most of it's just manual and whatever else I can find on the internet. But I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll catch you on the next one.